Getting tougher on crime. We're looking into what the Liberals are promising as new bail legislation is unveiled today.
We will play to win. We will bet on Canada and all Canadians.
The Prime Minister speaks to the nation ahead of his first budget, why Mark Carney is promising investments but also warning of sacrifices. And curtain coming down. Why Vancouver will soon say goodbye to a movie theater that's been in town since the 1940s. It's Thursday, October 23rd. Welcome to Your Morning Vancouver. I'm Carrie Adams. The federal government is rolling out major changes to Canada's bail and sentencing laws this morning in Ottawa. The Bail and Sentencing Reform Act is being described as one of the biggest justice overhauls in years. Reagan Hasegawa is live this morning in Vancouver. So, Reagan, this is something people here in BC have been watching closely.
Good morning, Carrie. That's right. This has been a hot button issue across the country, but especially here in British Columbia, where local police networks as well as local politicians have been calling for tougher bail rules. And the federal government says today's changes are all about keeping repeat and violent offenders off the street. So later this morning, Justice Minister Sean Fraser will unveil the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act in Ottawa. The bill is aimed at making it harder for people accused of serious or repeat crimes to be released on bail and introduce tougher penalties for some offenses. It comes after months of consultation with provinces and territories, including British Columbia, where the issue of so-called catch and release cases has been of major concern. BC police associations and provincial leaders have generally welcomed the idea of tighter bail laws, but they're also watching closely to see how the new legislation will be enforced and whether it'll make a real difference on the ground. So today's news conference is happening at 9:30 this morning local time, and we're expecting to get plenty of reaction from both politicians and local police agencies. Carrie?
Okay, Reagan Hasegawa joining us. Thanks, Reagan. Well, now to Surrey, where police say they are making progress on growing extortion-related violence in that city. Last night, the Surrey Police Service gave an update at a public safety meeting in City Hall. To date, they say there have been 38 extortion-related shootings, 69 reports of extortion, and at least 60 victims. Police highlighted recent wins, such as charges against 7 men linked to extortion investigations. The SPS says it's prioritizing building relationships with the community and will be increasing visibility.
It's critical to success. The police need information from the community. The community are the ones who have the answers. And so collaborating with the community and engaging them and ensuring that they have an avenue to share that information is critical to the success of any of our investigations.
The SPS has collaborated with the City of Surrey to launch a reward and a tip line to help the ongoing investigations. The Independent Investigations Office has ruled that a Vancouver police officer who shot and killed a suspect who was attacking 2 convenience store workers last December acted appropriately. We do want to warn you this story may be disturbing for some viewers.
Move over! Take it up!
So this police-involved shooting of the knife-wielding suspect at a 7-Eleven on Robson Street last December began when the man entered the store and began harassing employees for free cigarettes. He returned with 2 knives and cornered a pair of employees behind the counter. When a taser didn't stop him from stabbing the cowering employees, one of the officers shot and killed the man.
We had to gather evidence that would either justify or not justify the use of that force. In this case, we found that the man who was in the store threatening the store employees clearly represented a threat of grievous bodily harm or death to the 2 civilian witnesses in the store.
The IIO report revealed both of the 7-Eleven employees were injured in the attack. One of them stabbed multiple times by the suspect, while the other was hit in the eye by a bullet fragment from the officer's gun. Well, to Ottawa now. Prime Minister Mark Carney is promising investment, but also warning of sacrifices in his pre-budget address to the nation.
Transform our economy easily or in a few months. It will take some sacrifices, and it will take some time.
The Prime Minister is promising his government's first budget will include generational investments in areas such as home building and industrial projects. Carney also said Canada will double its non-U.S. exports over the next decade. He also repeated his promise to find savings in government, but stressed programs like national childcare will be protected. The budget will be tabled on November 4th. With BC public service workers now in their 8th week of job action, more sectors are joining in. Members from the BC Wildfire Service and the Ministry of Forests are now behind the picket lines. The Wildfire Service says there are 94 active wildfires still burning in the province, with 90% of them considered under control. Despite job action, the union says essential services remain in place to ensure public safety. Both sides began non-binding mediation over the weekend. Well, the respiratory virus season is officially underway, and BC is launching its fall immunization campaign. The province says it has secured nearly 2 million flu shots and 1.4 million COVID-19 doses. More than 300 vaccine doses have already been administered since the booking system launched last week. Health officials are urging people to get immunized and to be cautious of misinformation. Well, movie lovers have just a few days left to catch a flick at Vancouver's Park Theatre, as the long-standing building will close its doors this weekend. Cineplex is confirming the Cambie Street Cinema will close on Sunday, calling it a difficult decision. The Park Theatre first opened in 1941 and became part of the Cineplex family in 2013. Its 70-meter projector will be moved to another location, but the future of the building remains unclear. Well, fans of the Muppets will have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a piece of television history for the very first time. The Jim Henson Company confirmed it's offering up a selection of puppets, props, and memorabilia to members of the public to mark the company's 70th anniversary. The company behind the Muppets, Fraggle Rock, and other classics say more than 400 items will be up for sale at its Hollywood headquarters next month. Proceeds will go towards preserving the Jim Henson Company's archives for future generations. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is very exciting. There's so many great objects that could be up for grabs. Anything that you'd have your eye on?
Yes, I want the balcony where the two grumpy critics sit.
Yes, grumpy old man, yeah. That's good. That's good.
Because I kind of am them now.
You relate? You want your own little area to view down on people?
Or I could just sit there and go, it's rainy. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind anything that Miss Piggy has. Like the pearl necklace or the gloves.
Yep, yep.
Just anything from her.
Oh, you're taking it classy. I'm taking it really mean. Yes, yes. You can have the pearls and all of the fun
I don't know
stuff.
if Miss Piggy's super classy, but anyway.
Well, she's sassy. She's sassy. Yeah, the little old men are more grumpy, which is me now giving you the forecast. How's that for a segue? CTV Weather is brought to you by Craftsman Collision, BC's leader in auto body repair. This is why I'm grumpy. Look at all these warnings this morning. So I'm just going to stand away and you can take a look at this. Purple is a wind warning in the Caribou region up to 90 kilometers an hour. North Vancouver Island up to 110 kilometers an hour. East Vancouver Island and the Sunshine Coast, a lot of wind there. Now the green is rain. West Vancouver Island, East Vancouver Island, Inland Vancouver Island, all of that is expected to last through tonight. As for the Metro Vancouver area, some showers this morning, intermittent showers throughout the day, but mostly cloudy skies today. And then tomorrow happens, where a major system moves in, bringing in significant rainfall. So as I keep saying, hunker down, friends. It's going to be that kind of day. Right now, it's showers in Vancouver, 12 degrees, and I'll have more what to expect for this very rainy stretch coming up in the forecast with the 5-day in about 10 minutes or so. Carrie?
Okay, thanks, Caroline. Well, a warning from a Vancouver business scammed out of thousands of dollars in seconds.
I just want all the business to be aware of what's going on.
It was what the crook did at the point of sale that started it all. We'll explain just ahead. Plus,
I think they really thought about what they were doing.
A Fraser Valley farmer is furious after his fields were trashed. The damage left by a driver doing donuts still to come. Stay with us. Well, a Fraser Valley farmer is speaking out this morning after he says some young vandals caused thousands of dollars in damage to his crops. And as CTV's Dimitra Maragos reports, those in the industry say this is actually a common occurrence.
They did a bunch of donuts, tore up quite a huge area of grass.
Longtime Abbotsford farmer Rob Rint describing the damage after he says an SUV went on a joyride through his family's crops in mid-October.
It hurts.
This all happening in broad daylight.
I don't think they really thought about what they were doing. They just saw a field and, I don't know, went through the cable and the donuts.
Rint says the driver went through this cable barrier, did donuts, and left. But not before one last spin.
They came back through another driveway on another property and did the same.
Leaving their mark on a second set of crops.
Having somebody drive through what you spend a year growing, right? Like it's kind of a slap to the face.
The cost of the damage, Rint says, around $100,000.
It's kind of like being punched in the gut.
We reached out to Abbey PD, who says they have identified the vehicle and are investigating.
No, I'm not surprised.
That's Bill Zillmans from the BC Potato and Vegetable Growers Association, who says anecdotally he hears about this happening to crops across the province once a month.
This has been an ongoing challenge in agriculture for quite some time.
And says this is an obstacle for farmers that could be easily avoided.
It's extremely hard to produce with the challenges, whether it's weather or the public. And this is just one other thing that really is not necessary.
Rint says this incident shows a lack of common decency.
People should respect people's properties.
Dimitra Maragos, CTV News, Abbotsford.
The owner of a Yaletown salon has a warning for other businesses this morning. This after a fraudster managed to steal nearly $5,000 in a matter of seconds. CTV's Ben Milger has tracked down other businesses in Alberta and Ontario with similar cases involving the same suspect.
Joseph Jahari has been a fixture in Yaletown for decades, welcoming clients to Pink Lime Salon and Spa. In all that time, he's never experienced anything like what happened when this man came in to buy a $20 hairbrush.
They want to put it on their credit card, but they took the machine, and instead of them putting their PIN number, they refund themselves $4,900.
The man tore the receipt from the machine and then abruptly left without even taking the hairbrush. Jahari reported the theft to police. After a lengthy back and forth with Moneris, the company that processes the transactions, he's finally getting the $4,900 back. But the company didn't agree to that until being contacted by CTV News.
I just want all the business to be aware of what's going on and really have your cameras. That helps always, because that's the only way you're gonna identify the clients or if it's coming into your salon.
Since speaking with Jahari about the fraud, we've managed to track down one business in Alberta and two in Ontario that have fallen victim to the same scam. They each provided us with pictures and videos showing the same man using the same technique to steal thousands of dollars in a matter of seconds. As there have been no arrests or charges, CTV News has to blur the suspect. In Belleville, Ontario, he hit a shop called T-Shirt Explosion. A man got away with $4,999.99, 1 cent below the refund limit on the machine.
$5,000 being taken can make or break a business. It could easily close a small business. So, of course, it was scary hearing about it. And it was just a terrible scenario.
The owner of this burger joint in Cambridge, Ontario, had his refund limit set to $100, but an over-the-air software update reset it, and the thief managed to scam the restaurant for $4,900.
Even if those POS devices have been hardened or secured in the past, that security is often overridden now that the patch or update has been applied.
Some of the businesses have been compensated by Moneris, but some have not. They're all advising others to keep a close eye when customers are handling sales terminals. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
Well, there are a lot of questions being asked in France about security failures at the Louvre on the heels of a brazen heist.
The first that they were aware this was happening was once the thieves were already inside.
But investigators have found some evidence left behind by the criminals. The latest on the investigation and the fallout still to come.
People shouldn't be making a business from reselling tickets.
As ticket prices for the World Series soar, the plan one province is considering reviving to keep ticket resellers in check. How it would work, coming up next. Stay with us.
Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. A dream vacation, home renovations, paying off bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is spend. Head to the contest page on ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter SPEND with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Vancouver's $20,000 giveaway. Good luck.
Well, some Toronto Blue Jays fans are showing some good sportsmanship. So following that nail-biter Game 7 win over the Mariners, one fan posted on social media that they'd be donating to Seattle Children's Hospital. Well, that post went viral, and soon after, others followed suit. The hospital thanked Blue Jays fans for their generosity, saying they've received about 100 donations so far. No word on the monetary value, but it's really the gesture here. And, you know, putting aside the rivalry, putting aside the whole, political rivalry that's happening right now between Canada and the U.S. and just doing something nice.
Something nice. I mean, either team, the Jays haven't been there in 30 years. The Mariners have never been to the World Series. So it was a great story either way. But that social media the post started happening because when one of the pitchers for the Mariners, Wu, when he was being interviewed post-game, you could hear another Mariners player just screaming in the background like, no! And he was like, that's how we feel. And so Blue Jays fans kind of felt that because Jays fans have been through it too. That's what helped motivate the donations.
It's an emotional time, and it's lovely that they're donating to the Children's Hospital because, in the end, kids can win this one. Maybe.
Exactly. You love to see it. Good on you, Jays fans. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. We've got a lot going on today in Vancouver. 13 degrees. The average is 12. Last year was 11. Nowhere near the high set back in 1992, the first year the Jays won the World Series. Bless. All right, Port Hardy. Rain today and a wind warning. Campbell River and Comox, rainfall and a wind warning at 13 degrees. Tofino, Port Alberni, rainfall warning today. Nanaimo, periods of rain, 13 degrees. Victoria, high of 14, some possible showers. Powell River and Sechelt, it's going to be windy today, 12 degrees. Whistler, Squamish, 10 degrees. Squamish under the rainfall warning. As for the lower mainland, some showers possible throughout the day, but cloudy skies all around and 13 degrees. But tomorrow is when the big system comes bringing heavy rain, not a rainfall warning. I'll be watching that for you tomorrow, but it's going to be a very, very wet weekend ahead. Carrie.
Caroline. Well, Taylor Swift fans will remember the frustration trying to get tickets to her Eras tour in Vancouver. Now, one Canadian province is looking to crack down on ticket resellers. It comes ahead of the World Series that starts in Toronto this Friday. CTV's Chauvin Morris reports.
Outside the Rogers Centre, the headquarters for so much joy the last few days, everyone has a story of woe of being denied a coveted World Series ticket.
I was, I think, 138,000 in the queue for Game 6.
I wasn't able to get any. It's been crazy.
The tickets vanished in a flash. The resale market that took over.
Too expensive.
Fans have reported tickets listed for north of $25,000. That's what some Torontonians pay for rent in a whole year.
They need to do something about it. It's People shouldn't be making a business from reselling tickets. It just doesn't make sense.
The Premier has heard those frustrations and is considering changes.
My personal opinion, I got to talk to the whole team, but they're gouging the people. When you have one player in the market that controls the tickets, that's not right for the people. So we're reviewing that right now.
Doug Ford says he'll look at reviving a legislative move his government killed in its early days. It would cap the price for a resale ticket at 50% markup. In 2018, Ford's office said the measure introduced by the Liberals couldn't actually be enforced. But Blue Jays fans are giving this a standing ovation.
That's a really reasonable thing to do. It allows people to actually afford to come into games and shows that you want to be able to see.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Like, price gouging is out of control.
I think that's something good. I think the amount people are trying to make off other people, I think is unfair.
Opposition parties don't think the government should have shut down the anti-scalping measure in the first place.
The Ford government once again failed everyday people in order to align themselves with corporate interests.
We need the government to take action.
People expect their government to make sure there's fairness.
Fans are still willing to stretch their budgets to witness history.
800 max. Yeah, for like the 500 seats.
But for now, they'll have to hope this is more than a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Ontario Liberals introduced a motion late this afternoon to bring back that cap on resale ticket prices. It was shot down. The NDP will try again tomorrow, but don't expect it to go anywhere. Siobhan Morris, CTV News, Toronto.
I like the idea of capping it at 50% of the original price. So if you have a $200 ticket, you can't resell it for more than $300 because that's how it works. And that's reasonable.
That's reasonable, but the original price isn't going to go up to $1,000 then, and then you can resell it for $2,000. I mean, are they going to be able to cap that? So.
Well, 50%. So, I mean, I don't know if it would be unlimited every time it changes hands. People would resell it, but hopefully at some point someone just wants the ticket and will use it. Anyway,
go Jays, go.
It's been really frustrating with the whole ticket thing over the years, as we know. Maybe we'll get a solution someday. Well, a special visit from King Charles to Rome is underway. We're going to have more on the royal prayers with Pope Leo and the new title Charles will receive during the visit. That is still to come.
It will take some sacrifices, and it will take some time.
Mark Carney's plan to rebuild Canada's economy and reaction to his pre-budget speech.
Good morning. The federal government plans to unveil what it calls the biggest justice overhaul our country has seen in years. What it means for public safety here in BC, coming up on Your Morning Vancouver.
Everyone. We begin in Ottawa. Prime Minister Mark Carney has pledged to make generational investments in a campaign-style speech ahead of next month's fall budget. But his promise of bold action came with a warning, telling Canadians that transforming the economy will, quote, take some sacrifices.
Even with such efficiencies and with better management, we will have to do less of some of the things that we want to do, so we can do more of what we must do.
Carney's goal for Canada is to double non-U.S. exports over the next decade, which he says would generate $300 billion in trade. Last night's address did not include any major new commitments, but it shed new light on key themes guiding the government's economic plan. That includes diversifying trading partners and plans for immigration. Former parliamentary budget officer Kevin Page says Carney's plans will face challenges.
2028-29 to effectively eliminate an operating deficit in a weaker economy with the NATO commitments is probably going to mean he's going to have to do more cuts, more austerity type measures to offset some of those investments that he talked about. So it's going to be a challenge, and so that's something we're going to have to see the details of in the budget.
Carney will be in the Toronto area today as he and Ontario Premier Doug Ford will tour an energy facility. Later, he'll head to the Rogers Centre to watch the Blue Jays practice ahead of their playoff game against the Dodgers tomorrow night. Well, Canada's bail and sentencing laws are getting a major overhaul. The federal government says new reforms will close long-standing gaps that have allowed repeat violent offenders back on the streets. Reagan Hasegawa is in Vancouver with a preview of today's announcement. Good morning, Reagan. And these changes are already getting a lot of attention here in BC.
That's right. And there's been mounting pressure from both police and provincial politicians to see stronger action on bail from the federal government. And there is hope today that sweeping reforms being promised by the Liberal government will lead to fewer high-risk offenders reoffending and causing more issues on the provincial level. So we know that Justice Minister Sean Fraser is scheduled to speak today. He is going to be introducing a bail and sentencing reform Act in Ottawa. The legislation is aimed at tightening bail conditions and increasing penalties for certain crimes. The federal government says the goal is to improve public safety and restore confidence in the justice system. Here in British Columbia, the issue has been front and center after a number of high-profile violent incidents involving repeat offenders. Police associations and the province's Attorney General have long urged Ottawa to close what they call loopholes in the bail system, though they'll be watching closely to see how these changes work in practice. And we have been told from the BC government today they do plan on holding some sort of press conference later this morning in response to whatever is released in Ottawa today. Carrie?
Okay, we'll be watching. Reagan Hasegawa joining us. Thanks, Reagan. Well, there is shock and sadness in the Quebec town of St. Therese as 300 workers at a commercial truck manufacturer are being laid off.
Sad. Oh, it's very heavy. I mean, yeah, it's very heavy. Like, it's the second time since not that long.
Unifor Quebec blames the layoffs at PACCAR on the ongoing trade war with the United States. The layoffs are set to come into effect November 3rd, just 2 days after new U.S. tariffs kick in on medium and heavy-duty trucks. The plant will now focus on making trucks for the Canadian market. That will lower production from 46 trucks per day to 18. Well, turning to breaking news now, an NBA player and coach have been arrested in connection with a federal investigation into sports betting. The Associated Press is reporting that Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier and Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups have been arrested. Exact charges haven't been revealed yet, although the league had previously investigated Rozier. Rozier was in uniform as the Heat took on the Orlando Magic last night, although he didn't actually play in the game. The NBA hasn't commented. The FBI is expected to reveal more information later this morning. We turn now to a major development following that historic jewelry heist at the Louvre in Paris. Investigators have found something at the scene that could help track down the suspects. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the latest.
Investigators in Paris say they found traces of DNA on a helmet and glove left behind by the thieves who made off with more than $100 million in jewels from the Louvre Sunday. The DNA now being analyzed in hopes of identifying the suspects. The head of the Louvre, Laurence Descartes, facing tough questions about how the thieves were able to pull off the heist. Testifying before the French Senate, she called it a terrible failure. Descartes says alarms and cameras were working, but perimeter security was weak, and the camera above the balcony where the thieves broke in was facing the wrong way, pointing away from the building.
They had no view onto the building when the thieves parked that vehicle, that van, beneath the window with the electronic ladder on top of it, the mechanical ladder, which means that the first that they were aware this was happening was once the thieves were already inside and cutting their way into the jewel cases.
Since taking over at the museum in 2021, Descartes says she made security a priority because she was appalled by the systems in place.
She painted a pretty shocking picture of the state of the museum's security arrangements. I think people expect that there would be state-of-the-art security.
Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Well, some history was made at the Vatican today as King Charles III met with Pope Leo XIV. Following a private meeting, King Charles and the Pope prayed together in the Sistine Chapel. This was the first time an English monarch and a Catholic pontiff have prayed together since the Reformation. The visit is aimed at strengthening ties between the Church of England and the Catholic Church nearly 5 centuries after their separation. An elephant calf at the Oregon Zoo is showing off some Halloween tricks.
It hasn't been squashed yet. Oh.
Chula 2 has turned a small pumpkin into a toy. It all started with an annual fall event where they give elephants pumpkins to crush. That looks like fun. However, she did not crush hers and instead is kicking it around like a ball. See, she is smart. Like these elephants, they're crushing them, but she knows, like, once you crush it, Caroline, then the game is over.
Yeah.
So she's like, no, I'm just going to kick this around. It's way more fun.
That's the best thing about this time of year, watching baby animals play with pumpkins.
We're going to get probably a piece of video from every zoo across the continent of, you know, some kind of pumpkin-related.
Breaking news, a leopard playing with a gourd. I'm here for it.
We had that yesterday. More to come, people.
More, please. All right. Phew. Let's take a look at the forecast. CTV Weather is brought to you by Craftsman Collision, BC's leader in auto body repair. Serious stuff here, folks. We've got windfall, rainfall warnings, and wind warnings. So many warnings, I'm just mixing up my words. So if you live in any of these areas, the purple is the wind, the green is the rain. Do take care, and these warnings are expected to remain in effect through tonight. As for the lower mainland, we've got a little bit of showers this morning, and then clearing as the day goes on. Some possible intermittent showers throughout the day, but it's not going to be rainy today. That comes tomorrow. Look at this. This is a look into your future, friends. A lot of rain, a significant rainfall coming in tomorrow and will last through the weekend. Here's your forecast highs for the province. Again, the rainfall warning in effect for the coast, and your almanac for Vancouver, 13 degrees today. Nowhere near the highs set back in 1992, the first year the Jays won the World Series. We had 17 then, today's 13, and it's going to be cloudy. More on the weekend and what to expect. Bring your umbrellas out. Carrie?
Good tips. Thanks for that, Caroline. Well, the future of BC's official opposition, the BC Conservatives, is up in the air. This as leader John Rustad remains defiant in the face of some calls for him to step down. In our next half hour, we'll be joined by political scientists with an outlook on what's to come. Stay with us for that. But first,
now, we've seen explosive growth in women's sports at every level across the country. Why do you think it's finally all coming together now?
The real stories, challenges, and triumphs of women are explored in the Honest Talk podcast. We'll speak with the hosts of the show coming up after the break. Stay with us.
Hello there, Kara Wagland in the SportsCenter newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday. And we take you to Charlotte, where the Hornets were hosting the Nets. First quarter, LaMelo Ball throws it up to Brandon Miller for the alley-oop slam. Miller had a game-high 25 points, not 6-7, 6-7. The Hornets open up their season with a win. And here's your must-see moment from Wednesday. I'm judging myself so much right now. Tonight on TSN, we've got the Jets taking on the Kraken. Coverage for that game gets underway at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. That's all for now from SportsCenter. Have a great day.
CTV and your BC Ram truck dealers are giving you a chance to win $5,000 to outfit your tailgate in style. A fully loaded barbecue, a packed cooler, a massive TV, whatever you need to get primed for the game. CTV and your BC Ram truck dealers want to help make it happen with $5,000 for the ultimate tailgate party package. Enter online at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen.
Now, we've seen explosive growth in women's sports at every level across the country. Why do you think it's finally all coming together now?
Right. Well, everyone loves a good, honest conversation, and the Honest Talk podcast dives into the real stories, challenges, and triumphs of women. And as of today, it's part of the iHeartRadio podcast network. And joining us now, our hosts, Jennifer Stewart and Catherine Clark. Good morning, ladies. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Thrilled. Oh, it's so great. And congratulations on the podcast. Honest Talk. I feel like that it should be a prerequisite for all podcasts. What inspired you to start the Honest Talk? Tell us about that.
Well, it started with all things that are incredibly honest, and that's a glass of wine. And we decided that there was really a need for something like this where women could share the stories that they actually experience in their everyday lives, the good and the bad. We found that women were feeling really alone and that they thought that they were going through something that no one else had ever gone through before. And so the podcast is an opportunity for us to really share the stories of women who've broken ceilings, who've achieved great heights, who've shown ambition, but who also have had to face challenges along the way too. So that's what the conversations are all about, an opportunity for women to really understand that we all have hills to climb and we all have peaks and valleys.
That's incredible, and I think that a lot of women want to listen to a podcast where they feel like they're just having a chat with some good friends. I'm not sure if that's the vibe that you're hoping to accomplish, but maybe the conversations that you think we're missing in media. Tell us a little bit about, the kinds of topics that you cover and the kind of guests that you have.
That's the total vibe that we're going for. And Catherine wasn't completely honest. It was a couple glasses of wine when the podcast was founded. It's that vibe of sitting around a kitchen table with your girlfriends, having a glass of wine or a coffee or water or whatever your choice of drink is, and just leaving feeling inspired and refreshed and motivated and frankly connected. And in media, we see so much gloss and we glorify the journey of women, but we don't actually unpack it beyond the key messages. What did it take to get here? What did you have to sacrifice? What did you get from this journey personally? And those are the conversations that we're having. And a lot of the time when we're recording, I frankly forget that we're recording a podcast. I'm just having a conversation, and that's exactly what we're trying to achieve.
Interesting. You've interviewed Olympians, politicians. We saw BC Premier Christy Clark there, women from all walks of life. What else can people expect from the Honest Talk podcast?
Well, for Vancouver, tomorrow you can expect an interview with Sinead King of the Vancouver Rise. But that's the next podcast that drops. And that's one of the things that we love being able to do, is to really focus on women who are doing non-traditional things too, like Sinead is doing. But, you can expect that you're going to listen to conversations with women who are really authentic and who are willing to share every part of their journey. And you can also expect a lot of fun. We keep it to 20 minutes. Women do not have more than 20 minutes to listen to a podcast. And so we're really conscious of our market and absolutely so excited with this iHeart partnership that we have just announced today, which is going to allow us to amplify the voices of the women we interview right across the country.
I love that you've kept it to 20 minutes because you're absolutely right. Women are busy, and just to have a little bite-sized moment in their day to catch up and spend some time with women that they like. But tell us, what is the one lesson that you were surprised to learn since you started this podcast?
If I'm being completely honest, almost every woman that we've spoken to has a support system that's either a partner, a friend, or a mother. And when we ask, how did you achieve this? How did you do it? They always come back to, well, I have this one person in my life who always believes in me. And when I didn't believe in myself, they pushed me. And that seems to be this really strong unifying connector in all the conversations. So for me, that was a surprise.
Yeah. And I think also what really surprised me is that this growing ability to ask for help and to be honest when things aren't going right. That's one of the things that I have loved seeing over the course of the 5 years that we've been doing this podcast now. Women are really starting to take control of themselves and to not worry about what other people say, but to address what's happening to them and be honest about it. That is the Honest Talk. That's what we're all about.
Amazing. Jennifer Stewart and Catherine Clark, thanks so much for joining us this morning. And the Honest Talk podcast is on iHeartRadio, the network today. Thanks for joining us, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, some headlines are so funny, they're better left to the comedians. From using AI to ordering Starbucks to the 6'7" trend. All the kids are saying, so annoying. Jimmy Fallon has your late laugh still to come. But first. Classic. On this day in 1959, American comedy musician Weird Al Yankovic was born in California. He shot to fame with his Michael Jackson parody, Eat It. Your milestones are next. Well, time now for your milestones. First up this morning, happy 6th birthday to Luna Machi. Love from Kugu, Janine, Papa, Al, and all the family.
Happy 26th anniversary to Martin with love from Tanya.
Happy 40th birthday to Mark. Love from Mom, Dad, Annika, and Jackie.
Happy birthday to Mila and Alexa. Have a wonderful day, both of you. Love from Jella and the family.
Happy 13th birthday to Moo. Love from Dad and Gigi.
Happy 55th anniversary. Nice to George and Bernadette Harvey with love and best wishes from your friends and family.
Happy 10th birthday to Abigail. We love you. Love from your family.
Happy 2nd birthday to Grayson. Love from Mommy, your auntie, uncles, grandma, and grandpa.
Great list, everyone. Send us your milestones to bcmilestones@ctv.ca.
And it is time for your forecast. Here's a live look at Victoria Harbor. Beautiful day there today. Oh, but that's not going to last long, friends. It's not going to last long. It is 6:52. It is Thursday, and as you saw there, a nice clear day in Victoria, but again, not going to last. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. Port Hardy, rain today and a wind warning in effect, 15 degrees. Campbell River, Comox, rainfall and a wind warning, high of 13 degrees. Tofino, Port Alberni, rainfall warnings there. Nanaimo, periods of rain. Victoria, as you saw there, clear. Going to see a little bit of sun. Possible light showers today, but the rain comes tomorrow. Spoiler alert. Powell River, Seashelt, rainfall and wind warning there, 12 degrees, 10 degrees on the Sea to Sky. Squamish, you're in a rainfall warning. As for the lower mainland, the morning showers will be clearing. You're going to see mainly cloudy skies, some possible showers throughout the Fraser Valley, but the real rain comes tomorrow, friends. Hunker down. Yes, it's going to be one of those days. It's fall, and the rainfall will last through the weekend. So get ready, friends. It's going to be a wet one. Now, from using AI to order Starbucks to that 6-7 trend all the kids are saying, here's Jimmy Fallon with your late laugh.
The CEO of Starbucks said that customers may soon be able to order drinks with AI by simply talking to their phones. Wow, talking into a phone to place an order? The future is here. What's that gonna be like? Yeah, Starbucks could take your order with AI. Meanwhile, by 2030, Dunkin' is hoping to have a website. Thinking about it. Well, guys, everyone's having fun with the 6-7 trend that's everywhere right now. And it looks like even news anchors are starting to get in on the action. Watch this.
You know how the kids are doing the 6-7?
6-7.
6-7.
6-7.
6-7.
6-7. 6-7. 6-7.
I still don't understand.
6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7.
And it's over. Okay, it's now. That was more depressing than the actual news. And finally, I saw that Sam Adams just released their strongest beer ever at 30% alcohol. And it is illegal in 15 states. If you're curious, here's what it does to your liver.
That's the photo of the White House ballroom coming down.
Yikes.
Okay, yeah. 6-7.
No, don't do it. Don't do it, Carrie. Don't do it.
Listen, I live this every day.
I know, you've got teenagers.
Do it? Oh my gosh, it's just every day.
What does it mean?
I actually don't know, and I've asked that. They're like, Mom, it's just like you have to know.
It's like over it or something like that. I don't know. I Googled it and then I tuned out because I don't care.
I thought it meant something and nothing.
Well, I just think that these are two numbers that, I don't know what it means, but there's just two numbers that often go together.
Thank goodness.
We've run out of time.
We only have 6-7 seconds left.
We probably should research it. Anyways, honestly.
Okay. Well, bartending requires an online test about your legal responsibilities when serving liquor, but Phoebe the dog just got certified to do that in Alberta. What this highlights about the province's online testing, still to come. Also, the Whitecaps have had one of the best seasons in club history. Head coach Jesper Sorensen will join us live in studio to discuss his success so far, so stick around for that. And police say they're making progress on growing extortion-related violence in Surrey. Their top stories are coming up. Well, big changes are coming to Canada's bail system. The Liberals are tabling bail reform this morning, but will the new rules help crack down on crime?
We will play to win. We will bet on Canada and all Canadians.
Mark Carney lays out his economic priorities ahead of the full budget, why he's promising investments but also warning of sacrifices. And joining the fight, we'll tell you about the latest group joining the striking BCGEU. It's Thursday, October 23rd. Welcome to Your Morning Vancouver. The federal government is rolling out major changes to Canada's bail and sentencing laws this morning in Ottawa. The Bail and Sentencing Reform Act is being described as one of the biggest justice overhauls in years. Reagan Hasegawa is live in Vancouver with more on this. Reagan, this is something that people here in BC have been watching closely.
Good morning, Carrie. Yes, it has been a hot button issue both at the local and provincial level. We've been hearing from police agencies and provincial and municipal politicians about this issue. They would like to see the federal government have stricter rules for bail. And that's something that the federal government is expected to discuss today. They say this reform is aimed at keeping violent and repeat offenders off the streets. We'll be hearing from the federal Justice Minister Sean Fraser this morning as he unveils the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act later this morning in Ottawa. The bill is aimed at making it harder for people accused of serious or repeat crimes to be released on bail and introduce tougher penalties for some offenses. It comes after months of consultation with provinces and territories, including British Columbia, where the issue of so-called catch and release cases has been of major concern. BC police associations and provincial leaders have generally welcomed the idea of tighter bail laws, but they're also watching closely to see how this new legislation will be enforced and whether or not it will make a real difference on the ground. And we are expecting to have a lot of reaction to this announcement this morning. The BC government has already told us we will be hearing from the Attorney General as well later today. Carrie?
Okay, Reagan Hasegawa joining us this morning. Thanks, Reagan. Well, now to Surrey, where police say they are making progress on growing extortion-related violence in that city. Last night, the Surrey Police Service gave an update at a public safety meeting at City Hall. Today, they say there have been 38 extortion-related shootings, 69 reports of extortion, and at least 60 victims. Police highlighted recent wins, such as charges against 7 men linked to extortion investigations. The SPS says it is prioritizing building relationships with the community and will be increasing visibility.
Critical to success. The police need information from the community. The community are the ones who have the answers. And so collaborating with the community and engaging them and ensuring that they have an avenue to share that information is critical to the success of any of our investigations.
The SPS has collaborated with the City of Surrey to launch a reward and tip line to help the ongoing investigations. To Ottawa now, Prime Minister Mark Carney is promising investment, but also warning of sacrifices in his pre-budget address to the nation.
We won't transform our economy easily or in a few months. It will take some sacrifices, and it will take some time.
The Prime Minister is promising his government's first budget will include generational investments in areas such as home building, and industrial projects. Carney also said Canada will double its non-U.S. exports over the next decade. He also repeated his promise to find savings in government, but stressed programs like national child care will be protected. The budget will be tabled November 4th. With BC public service workers now in their 8th week of job action, more sectors are joining in. Members from the BC Wildfire Service and the Ministry of Forests are now behind picket lines. The Wildfire Service says there are 94 active wildfires still burning in the province, with 90% of them considered under control. Despite job action, the union says essential services remain in place to ensure public safety. Both sides began non-binding mediation over the weekend. Former Solicitor General and West Vancouver Police Chief Cash Heed has announced he's running to be Richmond's next mayor. Heed says he will be focusing his platform around issues like public safety, affordability, and housing. The longtime Richmond resident successfully ran for a seat on City Council back in 2022. Current Mayor Malcolm Brodie announced last month he will not be seeking re-election after 25 years in the role. The election will be held next October. Well, a Calgary dog named Phoebe fetched more than just laughs after she became Alberta's newest and most unlikely certified bartender. The 9-year-old pug earned a valid provincial Pro Serve certificate, the same one required for human servers, after an artificial intelligence program completed the online training in minutes. It started as a joke, but digital security experts say it highlights serious gaps in the integrity of Alberta's online testing.
Received the training just like any other server or bartender in the province of Alberta. Phoebe, a dog, a pug, actually received this training, this certification. Which is the concerning part as far as the province doesn't know if or who is taking the training.
Phoebe has since had her certification revoked, ending what may have been the shortest bartending career ever. Okay, the cutest little bartender. Yeah, that's so cute. I'll take a shot of whiskey from that one anytime.
His little face. Sorry.
Not a real bartender.
They revoked Phoebe's license. Justice for Phoebe.
Yeah, very, very cute. And interesting message that they're trying to drive home there, that the impacts of AI are even being felt at your local bar.
More Phoebe space, please. Oh, I just spit. More Phoebe space, please. All right, let's just get right to the weather. Serious stuff here, actually. Rainfall warnings and wind warnings are in effect for all of these areas. The wind is purple. The rain is green. So if you live in any of these areas, take care and know that these warnings will be in place through the rest of today. As for the lower mainland, we're going to see some showers this morning, then cloudy skies. Bit of a break this afternoon. Some possible light showers, just quick later this afternoon, but then mainly cloudy skies. The real action happens tomorrow morning when a major system moves in, bringing in significant rainfall. Now, there's no rainfall warning in effect for Vancouver at this time. Of course, it's not raining yet, but when and if that happens, of course, I'll let you know here. Meanwhile, right now in Vancouver, it is 12 degrees. We have some showers in store that will be clearing as the day goes on. Today will be 13 degrees and cloudy skies, but I'll have more coming up in the forecast and what to expect for this weekend, Carrie. Keep your umbrellas handy.
Good plan. Thanks for that, Caroline. We have traffic for you this morning. Let's take a look at the roads and a live shot of the Patello Bridge. You can see those roads are wet out there right now, so do take care. In Surrey on Highway 17, there is a crash heading west that is blocking the left lane right before Bridgeview. Tow truck is on scene. Traffic is heavily backed up in that area. Well, many Canadian provinces are lowering the age for routine breast cancer screenings.
It's the putting it off and not getting screened is where it becomes dangerous.
Still to come, how one cancer survivor is urging people to book an appointment sooner rather than waiting. But first, the future of the BC Conservatives is up in the air amid calls for John Rustad to step down. Up next, we'll be joined by political scientists with an outlook on what's to come. Stay with us.
We just had a member of our caucus decide to leave our caucus. It's very unfortunate that we're in that situation.
The future of BC's official opposition, the BC Conservatives, is up in the air after a 5th MLA departed caucus this week. And despite numerous calls for the leader to resign, John Rustad remains defiant. Where does the party go from here? We're joined now by UBC political scientist Stuart Press this morning. Good morning, Stuart. Thanks for taking the time.
Morning, Kay. It's my pleasure.
So John Rustad's own party management committee has written a letter calling for him to step down. So how bad does this look for him right now?
It looks pretty bad. We have had questions about his leadership circling now since a leadership review earlier in the fall was supposed to put these questions to bed, but has really just seen the ignition of a new round of questioning. But up until this point, it has been more on the fringes. Most recently, we had an MLA, Amelia Bootby, sitting as an independent and saying that Mr. Rustad needed to step aside. But now we have a clear and unambiguous signal coming from within the BC Conservative Party, from its own management committee. And so that is a hard signal to ignore. Mr. Rustad seems intent on ignoring it, but I don't know that this is going to be a tenable solution for him.
Yeah, so the committee letter to Rustad states that the resulting state of chaos driven by a series of decisions and actions taken under your leadership has destabilized the party's internal cohesion and diminished its public credibility. As you mentioned, it wasn't too long ago that Rustad survived a leadership review. What is happening in the party right now?
Well, some of this is, I think, the BC Conservatives and Mr. Rustad being a victim of his own success, where he brought this party from the fringes of BC politics to the cusp of victory in last fall's election. But in doing so, this BC Conservative Party brings together two very different factions or ways of being a conservative, if you like. And we have a more moderate wing of the party that really focuses on making BC an inclusive province, creating space for gender inclusive education, for instance. But on the other side, a populist, more social conservative wing of the party that is much more uncompromising on those kinds of issues. And these two groups really don't see eye to eye. And when that prospect of power disappeared, I think there is a new round of infighting, which is still ongoing, about what this party really should stand for.
Okay, so what are the options for him as leader? He's defined, he says he's going to stay. Can they force him out?
There is no formal mechanism other than that leadership review that he was able to pass this fall to force the leader to resign. But we know from watching politics at various levels that it can become an untenable situation where the pressure from serving MLAs saying that they will no longer follow this leader, if there's enough of them saying that loudly enough, effectively he will have no party left to lead, and at that point he'll have to resign. We saw a version of that actually play out at the federal level last fall with Mr. Trudeau in his final months. There was no formal review mechanism, but it became clear that he could not stay in that position any longer.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, so there's been 5 MLAs that had left the party. The most recent one, Amelia Bootby, and earlier before that, it was the firing of Eleanor Sturko. So with these MLAs leaving, with obviously this discontent within the party, what opportunity does this present for the newly founded Centre BC and the BC NDP come next election?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think we have to wait and see here, because there's some irony to this story where the BC Conservatives was a kind of shotgun merger of the two different right of centre parties in the run-up to last election. We had BC United, which was formerly the BC Liberals, longtime party, which basically disappeared, and many of its supporters and a number of its MLAs went to the BC Conservative side. So then we had this union of these two factions in a single party. But as soon as the election was over, we see those same divisions actually reappearing. So now we have not one, but potentially 3 different parties of the right. And it's quite possible, if Mr. Rustad were to step aside, that we would see members of both these breakaway groups come back into the fold to try to compete against the NDP next time around. But those divisions are still going to be there no matter who is in charge.
Well, we'll watch how this unfolds. Stuart Press from UBC Political Science Department, thanks for giving us some insight this morning. Appreciate your time.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, did you know that the Canadian economy loses $3.5 billion a year to menopause? We'll take a closer look at how women struggling to manage symptoms are taking a hit to their careers and how companies can better support. That is coming up in our next half hour. But first, the Vancouver Whitecaps are having a historic year. Up next, we're joined in studio by head coach Jesper Sorensen ahead of this weekend's playoff matchup. Stay with us.
And Pals are rocking in the DJ table at Disney on Ice, and you're on the guest list. Feel the electric atmosphere as they remix favorite Disney tunes into colorful worlds. Disney on Ice presents Let's Dance at the Pacific Coliseum. Enter online at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen for a chance to win an 8-pack of tickets. Good luck. Welcome back to Your Morning Vancouver. It is 7:20. It is Thursday, and it's going to be a rainy day out there, friends. Port Hardy, rain today, and a wind warning, high of 15. Campbell River, Comox, rainfall, and a wind warning and 13. Tofino, Port Alberni, rainfall warnings today. Nanaimo, periods of rain, 13 degrees. Victoria, a chance of afternoon showers, but cloudy skies today and 14 degrees. Sunshine Coast, wind warning, and it's 12 degrees. Whistler, some showers, 10 degrees. Squamish, rainfall warning, and 10 degrees. As for the lower mainland, we're going to see cloudy skies, some possible showers toward the Fraser Valley, but the real rain comes tomorrow. Would you look at that? A major system rolling in, bringing in significant rainfall, and this rain shall last through the weekend. And on that happy note, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot. Thank you, Tina Weeb from Abbotsford, for sending this in to us. A beautiful shot there. If you want your photo featured, email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. That's a beautiful photo.
Well, what a first season it's been for Vancouver Whitecaps head coach Jesper Sorensen. He's watched as his Whitecaps have had one of the best seasons in club history, streaking towards a playoff showdown with FC Dallas this weekend. Here to break down the matchup is the man himself, Jesper Sorensen. Good morning, Jesper. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
We were saying earlier, we tried to get him on the show for so long, and he's finally here.
Yeah, it's been a busy season. Yeah, it has been.
No kidding. Yeah, what a season it's been. There's been so much excitement for this playoff match this weekend. The Upper Bowl is opened at BC Place. How does that make you feel, knowing that the fans are going to be coming out for this?
I think it's great. I'm really happy for it, because I think what we want to do all the time is, of course, create excitement. Sports is great, and everybody wants to come and be excited and maybe inspired a little bit about what people can do. And I think that the excitement we've been able to create around the Whitecaps this season, we felt it on the pitch, and we also want to give back, when we play. So I think that connection is very important, and I really like it. The atmosphere is great, and we just would like to live up to it.
Okay, well, you've done a great job so far, I will say. The last time that Vancouver and Dallas FC squared off, it ended with this controversial red card that left you with a man down. I'm not sure if you're going to be appealing that, but coming through that now, like, how do you motivate the team to sort of look beyond that incident that maybe left some of your players feel a little defeated?
Yeah, no, I think, now we're into the playoffs, and then the margin of error, you can allow yourself, has to go down. And I think it was, maybe it was the right moment, just right going into the playoffs. We made some mistakes. We got punished for, and they took advantage of it, Dallas. And now we got warned about what not to do sometimes, and maybe sometimes not be over-aggressive in moments and over-committing, especially early in the games, because you pay a pretty steep price sometimes. And we did that the other day, so I think it was good. Having said that, of course, Dallas has been doing well as of late, but yeah. Yeah, we're confident. We're confident. Yeah, we are. Yeah. No, it's nice. You're saying we. It's great. Yeah.
Love it. Now, I want to talk about Thomas Müller. Of course, he's been in Vancouver since August now. The world is watching, and he's been as advertised. What do you think he is going to do in this playoff run?
Yeah, hopefully he's gonna play as well as he's done since he came. No, it's been such a great addition for the group, because when you bring a player in like that, your teammates, they get excited, and they want to they want to show themselves also that they're good players, and they know all about what he's done in this sport, and I think also the way he came in and the way he's handling himself on and off the pitch, I think it's just been it's been great for everybody. It's been good for the fans. It's been great for everybody around the club, and also his teammates. And the best thing is that he's delivered on the pitch, and yeah. I hope that he, together with his teammates, can really do a great run here in the playoffs, because we worked hard to get here, and now we're ready to really hit it off come Sunday.
And he wouldn't have come here if he didn't know how incredible of a team this is. So what a fantastic addition. Now, obviously, I don't know a whole lot about soccer, but what I love about going to Whitecaps game is the energy and the atmosphere. This is your first season with the Whitecaps. What have you thought of the city and the fans and the atmosphere at BC Place?
No, I think it has been, exceeding my expectations. Honestly, I think we've had so many great moments, and our fans have been behind us all through the season, and the connection only got stronger over the season, I think. So I think it's been great. It's something that you don't really know about when you come from a different country, as I did. But I think that it's something that you hope for, that you're able to create that connection. And I think it's been strong all through the season. I think only it got stronger throughout. So yeah, and there has been some unbelievable moments already the first season, right? So I think it's a full house against Miami.
Yeah.
One here, and
that was amazing.
Yeah,
I was at that one.
and a lot of good. Yeah. And and it really also, I think the players really appreciate it.
Yeah. There's nothing like
they
that
like
goal
it,
song.
and they respond. Yeah, we like to hear that one. We like to hear that one, right?
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere.
Hopefully we'll hear that a lot.
Yeah, we hope for that. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, good luck this Sunday. You're taking on Dallas FC, and thanks so much to Jesper Sorensen for joining us in studio this morning. It's great to finally meet you in person, and hopefully we'll get you back in really soon.
It's great to be here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank
wonderful.
you. Yeah.
7:26, there are a lot of questions being asked in France about security failures at the Louvre on the heels of that brazen heist.
The first that they were aware this was happening was once the thieves were already inside.
Investigators have found some evidence left behind by the thieves. We'll have the latest on the investigation and the fallout still to come. Also, chaos off the court as an NBA player and a coach have been arrested after an FBI investigation into illegal betting. Plus, one of the biggest justice overhauls in years is happening. How Canada's bail and sentencing laws are changing. Your top stories are next. Everyone, thanks for joining us. We begin in Ottawa. Prime Minister Mark Carney has pledged to make generational investments in a campaign-style speech ahead of next month's fall budget. But his promise of bold action came with a warning, telling Canadians that transforming the economy will, quote, take some sacrifices.
Even with such efficiencies and with better management, we will have to do less of some of the things that we want to do so we can do more of what we must do.
Carney's goal for Canada is to double non-U.S. exports over the next decade, which he says would generate $300 billion in trade. Last night's address did not include any major new commitments, but it shed new light on key themes guiding the government's economic plan. That includes diversifying trading partners and plans for immigration. Former parliamentary budget officer Kevin Page says Carney's plans will face challenges.
2028-29 to effectively eliminate an operating deficit in a weaker economy with the NATO commitments is probably going to mean he's going to have to do more cuts, more austerity type measures to offset some of those investments that he talked about. So it's going to be a challenge, and so yeah, that's something we're going to have to see the details of in the budget.
Carney will be in the Toronto area today as he and Ontario Premier Doug Ford will tour an energy facility. Later, he'll head to the Rogers Centre to watch the Blue Jays practice ahead of their playoff game against the Dodgers tomorrow night. Well, Canada's bail and sentencing laws are getting a major overhaul. The federal government says the new reforms will close long-standing gaps that have allowed repeat violent offenders back on the streets. Reagan's live in Vancouver with a preview of today's announcement. So, Reagan, these changes are already getting a lot of attention here in BC.
Good morning, Carrie. There has been mounting pressure from police and provincial politicians for the government to take stronger bail reform, and they're hoping today's announcements and changes will stop violent repeat offenders from ending back up on the street. So we'll be hearing from the federal justice minister this morning. That is Sean Fraser. He's announcing the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act in Ottawa. The legislation is aimed at tightening bail conditions and increasing penalties for certain crimes. The federal government says the goal is to improve public safety and restore confidence in the justice system. Here in British Columbia, the issue has been front and center after a number of high-profile violent incidents involving repeat offenders. Police associations and the province's attorney general have long urged Ottawa to close what they call loopholes in the bail system, though they'll be watching closely to see how these changes work in practice. And BC's attorney general's office has already told us we will be hearing from that minister later today in response to whatever is announced at 9:30 this morning. Carrie?
Okay, we'll be following that. Reagan Hasegawa joining us. Thanks, Reagan. Well, there is shock and sadness in the Quebec town of Sainte-Therese as 300 workers at a commercial truck manufacturer are being laid off.
Very sad.
Oh, it's very heavy. I mean, yeah, it's very heavy. Like, it's the second time since not that long.
Unifor Quebec blames the layoffs at PACCAR on the ongoing trade war with the United States. The layoffs are set to come into effect November 3rd, just 2 days after new U.S. tariffs kick off on medium and heavy-duty trucks. The plant will now focus on making trucks for the Canadian market. That will lower production from 46 trucks per day to 18. Well, another company has been hit by a cybersecurity breach. Toys R Us says a database containing customers' personal information was accessed. The toy store says it began an investigation in the summer, hiring a third-party investigator. It says some records had been copied, including customers' names, addresses, and contact information. However, the company says the breach did not contain passwords or credit card information. An advisory has been sent to all impacted customers. Well, stateside now, the U.S. military has dramatically expanded its campaign against suspected drug traffickers. 2 more alleged drug boats have been destroyed, and 5 people have been killed in strikes in the Pacific Ocean. This video, posted by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, shows one of the 2 strikes that took place off the coast of Colombia Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. The U.S. has now launched at least 9 strikes, the previous 7 in the Caribbean. The attacks have killed at least 32 people and have drawn condemnation from South American nations. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's administration has announced new sanctions against Russia's oil industry. It's aimed at moving Russian President Vladimir Putin to the negotiating table as the war in Ukraine rages on. The sanctions follow months of calls from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to hit Russia with harder sanctions on its oil industry. The EU also adopted a 19th package of sanctions against Russia today, banning Russian gas imports. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev says the decision by Trump's administration showed Washington was, quote, on the warpath with Moscow. A major story is unfolding in the sports world this morning. Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier and Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups have reportedly been arrested in connection with a probe into sports betting. The league had previously investigated Rozier in 2023, but that investigation determined he did nothing wrong. You might remember that former Raptors player Jonte Porter pled guilty to charges that he withdrew early from games so that others could benefit by betting on him to underperform. Well, the NBA has not commented on the charges, which have not been formally announced. FBI Director Kash Patel is expected to provide more information on the charges later today. We turn now to a major development following that historic jewelry heist at the Louvre in Paris. Investigators have found something at the scene that could help track the suspects down. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the latest.
Investigators in Paris say they found traces of DNA on a helmet and glove left behind by the thieves who made off with more than $100 million in jewels from the Louvre Sunday. The DNA now being analyzed in hopes of identifying the suspects. The head of the Louvre, Laurence Descartes, facing tough questions about how the thieves were able to pull off the heist.
Ce vol blesse notre institution.
Testifying before the French Senate, she called it a terrible failure. Descartes says alarms and cameras were working, but perimeter security was weak, and the camera above the balcony where the thieves broke in was facing the wrong way, pointing away from the building.
They had no view onto the building when the thieves parked that vehicle, that van, beneath the window with the electronic ladder on top of it, the mechanical ladder, which means that the first that they were aware this was happening was once the thieves were already inside and cutting their way into the jewel cases.
Since taking over at the museum in 2021, Descartes says she made security a priority because she was appalled by the systems in place.
She painted a pretty shocking picture of the state of the museum's security arrangements. I think people expect that there would be state-of-the-art security.
Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Well, some history was made at the Vatican today as King Charles III met with Pope Leo XIV. Following a private meeting at the Vatican, King Charles and the Pope prayed together in the Sistine Chapel. This was the first time an English monarch and a Catholic pontiff have prayed together since the Reformation. The visit is aimed at strengthening ties between the Church of England and the Catholic Church nearly 5 centuries after their separation. The Los Angeles Dodgers have touched down in Toronto to take on the Blue Jays in the World Series. The Dodgers will try to keep their perfect 4-0 road playoff record as they face off against a Blue Jays team that is amongst the best in baseball at winning at home. Now, Game 1 is tomorrow night. Game 2 will be Saturday at the Rogers Center. The series will then turn to L.A. for Games 3 and 4, and if necessary, Game 5. Well, one of Taiwan's most well-known wartime attractions is echoing with beautiful music. The Kinmen Tunnel Music Festival sold out in 2 minutes. The tunnel was built during the height of the Cold War to shelter supply boats from artillery shells from China. 6 shows like this took place, giving audiences a chance to hear cellos and violins in this unique venue. Performers sat in a small boat being gently paddled around the tunnel, playing a selection of music, including Mozart and Beethoven. Wow, what an incredibly unique way to listen to music. And you know what it's like when you're in a small space or in a tunnel, like the sound just echoes.
Yeah,
so
the acoustics.
I can only imagine.
Oh, that is gorgeous. That's serene, a serene continuation to our morning because we're going to need it because look at what is going on outside. Welcome to the forecast, friends. The purple is a wind warning. The green are rainfall warnings. So if you're in any of these areas, do take care, and these warnings are expected to be in place through today. All right, let's get to the lower mainland now. Some showers to start the day, but then we'll have a little bit of a clearing trend. Some intermittent showers throughout the day, but it's not going to be a rainy day today. That comes tomorrow. Look at what's coming. Yes, the system moving in tomorrow morning, overnight and into tomorrow morning, and that will remain with us through the weekend. So get your umbrellas ready, friends. You are going to need it. Today is 13 degrees, nowhere near the high that we set back in 1992 at 17 degrees there. The first year the Jays won the World Series. Hooray, I remember it well. Today, cloudy skies and 13 degrees, but get your umbrellas out, friends. You will be needing it tomorrow and through the weekend. Carrie.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for that, Caroline. It's 7:40 right now. It's estimated about 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. As many Canadian provinces drop routine screening to the age of 40, one cancer survivor is urging people to book an appointment. CTV's Sarah Plowman has the story.
At 34, Alicia Bryan noticed a lump in her breast.
And I sat on it for a long time, hoping that it would go away.
That lump didn't leave. A mammogram and biopsy revealed what she had feared.
It came back with a positive diagnosis for cancer, for stage 3 breast cancer in my right breast.
Surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation followed. For 3 years, she's been in remission. As more provinces open up routine breast cancer screening to women in their 40s, she's urging people to go.
Go and do the test. Go and do it scared. Get it out of the way.
At what age routine screening should start has been hotly debated. Current Canadian guidelines recommend 50, but many provinces, including Ontario, have dropped the age to 40. Since Ontario's program expanded last October, about 184,000 women in their 40s have been screened. That's about 18% of women in that age group.
Usually in a screening program, we aim for 70% of women being screened, but we have not achieved that yet, especially for the women 40 to 49, because there has been a lot of controversy about the guidelines.
At the Ottawa Hospital, women in their 40s are now getting screened in similar numbers as those in their 50s and 60s.
This really indicated that there was a pent-up demand, and I am diagnosing cancer, early breast cancer, in these young women.
Brian is thankful her cancer was found, removed, and treated.
It's the putting it off and not getting screened is where it becomes dangerous.
A message she hopes is heard. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
Well, did you know that the Canadian economy loses $3.5 billion a year to menopause? Coming up next, we'll take a closer look at how women struggling to manage symptoms are taking a hit to their careers and how companies can better support them. Also, that white fedora worn by Michael Jackson in the Smooth Criminal music video is now up for auction. How much it might cost you, still to come.
Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. A dream vacation, home renovations, paying off bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is spend. Head to the contest page on ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter spend with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Vancouver's $20,000 giveaway. Good luck.
A quarter of workers in Canada are women over the age of 40 when most will experience menopause or perimenopause symptoms. According to the recent statistics, not only does it cost the Canadian economy billions of dollars a year, it's those working women that bear the brunt of those costs. To help us further understand this during World Menopause Month is advocate and founder of Menopause Chicks, Shirley Weir. Good morning, Shirley. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
An important conversation. It's estimated 540,000 lost days of work can be attributed to women taking time to manage their menopause or perimenopause symptoms. What does that look like?
Well, it's a little bit complex to unpack because the phrase menopause symptoms can mean something different to all of us. And so it's really important that we understand what's hormone related and what might be hormone adjacent. So it might be changes to sleep, changes to mood, changes to bleeding, which is really common in perimenopause. It might also be complicated by caring for younger family members and maybe aging parents and heavy workloads. So it's complex.
It sounds like it. So how is it that women who are experiencing symptoms of menopause can end up losing income? Is it because they're often leaving the workforce or taking days off to help manage?
Yeah, again, that's going to be very individual and personalized, but you know, we live in a system, a healthcare system, that sometimes access to care can even be challenging. So not even to mention what it means to book a health appointment and drive downtown and park and go see your doctor. If you have a doctor, 7 million Canadians do not, it's complex. And so you're pushing through, you're carrying through until maybe you can't, and then that might mean an impact to lost productivity or missed days of work.
Okay, so we have some graphics to show you. These are statistics from the Menopause Foundation of Canada. 1/3 of working women say their menopause symptoms negatively impacted their performance at work, and a quarter say they hid their symptoms at work. So how does this impact a woman's opportunities on the job in the workforce?
Yeah, we found in the most recent Her BC report, which reflects the Menopause Foundation of Canada, that women were either being overlooked for job opportunities or saying no to special projects because they simply weren't feeling their best, and they deserve to feel amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. 67% of these female workers don't feel comfortable speaking to their boss about their symptoms or speaking with human resources. So how can a female worker approach this then? What are the options for a woman?
I get asked about this a lot. I mean, I think that sometimes whenever we talk about menopause in the workplace, where people are thinking, oh, now we have to talk about it around the water cooler. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is be honest. If you are experiencing debilitating fatigue, for example, you have chronic insomnia, vasomotor symptoms, and you're booking a health appointment, tell your coworkers or your boss if you feel comfortable doing that, because whoever overhears you say that, they are going to feel more confident and informed to prioritize their health as well.
That's really good information. So employers feel this as well, not only from lost productivity, but also loss of experience and loss of leadership in the workplace if these women choose to move on or just can't continue on. So what can the workplace do to make a more supportive environment for these women?
The recommendations clearly say education, evidence-based education, and the workplace is an amazing health classroom to do that for all ages, all stages, and all genders. We also recommend that you take a look at your health benefits through the lens of a 45-year-old woman. Think outside of the box. Can you connect your employees with telehealth, for example, and invest in women's health research? Less than 7% of all research dollars in this country are focused on women's health. That's not enough. We have a long way to go. I think our employers can play a huge role in elevating that.
I'm glad we're having this conversation. Shirley Weir from Menopause Chicks, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I also have a ton of home shows that I have to be at this year.
Like the Vancouver Fall Home Show, it's back with some familiar faces. Both Brian and Sarah Baumler are joining the roster of home reno experts, and they'll join us live in studio with a sneak peek coming up in our next half hour. Yeah, did you know your knuckles fit perfectly like this against your face? Never tried it myself. Your Thursday morning sidebar is coming right up. Huh.
Welcome back to CTV Your Morning Vancouver. It is 7:53. It is Thursday. It's cloudy out there. Some showers in some areas, but it's not going to be a rainy day today, friends. That comes tomorrow. Yes, a major system moving in, bringing in some heavy rain, and just when that clears, another one comes in and just in time for Saturday. So it is autumn. It is Vancouver, and today's going to be cloudy.
I feel like the days kind of keep pushing the rain, because I think it was supposed to be rain today, and so but it's been pushed a day.
It's pushing, but tomorrow is apparently the big day. There's a lot of rainfall warnings through parts of the province, so that's coming.
Okay.
It's the day. It's the day.
It's coming.
When is it going to rain?
Hunker down. It's coming.
When is it coming?
Anyway, it's time for your sidebar. One day I'll get it. One day. Anyways, we kick things off with a couple that should keep their day jobs.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Guess it's true, I'm not good in it.
Oh no, Tyrani and her boyfriend wondered if they had any hidden talent so they could quit their jobs. And by the sounds of it, it's a no.
Yeah. This is the first time they've ever sang.
I guess together, like in an instrumental.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because everyone can sing with a song.
And with the right acoustics, like in the shower, for example.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm winning Grammys in the shower.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no. Oh, well. Not sure if this sex move is a talent, but it sure is surprising. So this woman wanted to see if her knuckles fit into her side profile, and they do. Look at that.
So I was trying to do this earlier. It looks like it's the top knuckle goes over the nose and then under. It doesn't work for me. I think
it kind of does work.
Bigger. I'm willing to mess up my lip gloss to make this happen.
I know. Yeah,
it works for me.
Are you doing knuckle under the nose?
Yeah.
But you move your knuckles around. And
Mine's got lipstick on mine.
It fits. Carrie, it fits. And your gloss
made it fit.
I'm sure a lot of people at home are doing this right now.
Everybody is
They're going to be
doing
late
this
for
right
work.
You guys better get out the door. Stop putting your knuckle up against your mouth. Anyways, that's all for your sidebar. Okay. Oh, sorry. We have one more.
No.
Sorry, I got sidetracked. Finally, age is just a number, and apparently it's that number that makes you young or old.
So if you are 21 years old, that is young. If you are 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, that is young. If you're 27, 28, 29, that's old. If you're 30, that's old. 31 is old. 32 is old. 33 is young. 34, 35.
Do you agree?
What? Well, I think it depends who is looking at these numbers.
Yeah, so this is Ben. According to him, 21 to 26 is young. 27 to 32 is old, but then 40 is young, and so is 50.
I think it depends how old the person is that's analyzing the numbers.
49.
Like, sorry, Mona, you're 27, right?
I'm 28, turning 29, and I'm having a mental breakdown about it.
Because you feel like it's old.
Oh, girl, it just gets better.
No, I think in relation to my life, it is old. Because it's the oldest I've been.
To me, like, I'm the oldest of the group here. I'm thinking, like, you're so young.
Well, I know, and that's the thing. That's the thing. I've always been the baby of the family, of the friend group at work. But this 29, oh, it's giving me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Oh, wait till you get to your 50s, girlfriend.
Listen, you have this to look forward to, right here.
I know.
Huh?
Yeah, you guys are lovely.
What's not to love?
It's good stuff.
I love you guys.
Anyway.
I love you guys. That's the sidebar. It's over now.
Thank you. Okay, well, as ticket prices for the World Series soar, so does frustration with ticket resellers and scalpers looking to cash in.
People shouldn't be making a business from reselling tickets.
How one province is considering reviving an old plan that may help keep ticket resellers in check. Will it be enough, though? Also, a new report on the fiscal accountability of Canadian provinces will tell you how BC scored and what it could be doing better. Plus, police say they are making progress on the growing extortion-related violence in Surrey. We'll have the update when we come back. Stay with us. Big changes are coming to Canada's bail system. The Liberals are tabling bail reform this morning, but will the new rules help crack down on crime?
We will play to win. We will bet on Canada and all Canadians.
Mark Carney lays out his economic priorities ahead of the full budget. Why he's promising investments, but also warning of sacrifices. And the show won't go on. Why Vancouver will soon be saying goodbye to a movie theater that's been in town since the 1940s. Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, October 23rd. Welcome to Your Morning Vancouver. I'm Carrie Adams. The federal government is rolling out major changes to Canada's bail and sentencing laws this morning in Ottawa. The Bail and Sentencing Reform Act is being described as one of the biggest justice overhauls in years. Reagan Hasegawa is live in Vancouver with more on this. Good morning, Reagan. And this is something people here in BC have been watching closely.
Good morning, Carrie. They have. This has been a hot button issue for British Columbians and something that local police and politicians have been calling on the government to take a tougher stance on, that issue of bail reform. And the federal government says today they expect to unveil a number of changes which will focus on keeping violent and repeat offenders off our streets. So we'll be hearing from the federal Justice Minister, Sean Fraser, as he's set to unveil the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act in Ottawa. The bill is aimed at making it harder for people accused of serious or repeat crimes to be released on bail and introduce tougher penalties for some offenses. It comes after months of consultation with provinces and territories, including British Columbia, where the issue of so-called catch and release cases has been of major concern. BC Police Association and provincial leaders have generally welcomed the idea of tighter bail laws, but they're also watching closely to see how this new legislation will be enforced and whether it'll make a real difference on the ground. And so we are expecting to get a response from the BC government. We've been told that the Solicitor General and Attorney General will be available for comment shortly after this announcement over in Victoria. Carrie?
Okay, Reagan Hasegawa joining us. Thanks, Reagan. Well, now to Surrey, where police say they are making progress on growing extortion-related violence in that city. Last night, the Surrey Police Service gave an update at a public safety meeting in City Hall. To date, they say there have been 38 extortion-related shootings, 69 reports of extortion, and at least 60 victims. Police highlighted recent wins, such as charges against 7 men linked to extortion investigations. The SPS says it's prioritizing building relationships with the community and will be increasing visibility.
Critical to success. The police need information from the community. The community are the ones who have the answers. And so collaborating with the community and engaging them and ensuring that they have an avenue to share that information is critical to the success of any of our investigations.
The SPS has collaborated with the City of Surrey to launch a reward and tip line to help with the ongoing investigations. The Canada Industrial Relations Board has ruled against the union representing Canada Post workers. It comes after the union challenged last year's move by the federal government to force employees back to work. The workers were ordered back to the job last December by Ottawa, with the feds invoking Section 107 of the Canada Labour Code. The union challenged the move, saying it violated its right to strike under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The board has now concluded the charter was not violated and has no authority to review the Labour Minister's decision. The dispute between Canada Post and the union is still ongoing, with workers currently participating in rotating strikes. With BC Public Service workers now in their 8th week of job action, more sectors are joining in. Members from the BC Wildfire Service and the Ministry of Forests are now behind the picket lines. The Wildfire Service says there are 94 active wildfires still burning in the province, with 90% of them considered under control. Despite job action, the union says essential services remain in place to ensure public safety. Both sides began non-binding mediation over the weekend. To Ottawa now, Prime Minister Mark Carney is promising investment, but also warning of sacrifices in his pre-budget address to the nation.
We won't transform our economy easily or in a few months. It will take some sacrifices, and it will take some time.
The Prime Minister is promising his government's first budget will include generational investments in areas such as home building and industrial projects. Carney also said Canada will double its non-U.S. exports over the next decade. He also repeated his promise to find savings in government, but stressed programs like national childcare will be protected. The budget will be tabled November 4th. Well, just hours after the Prime Minister's address, the C.D. Howe Institute released its latest fiscal accountability report cards. CTV's Scott Hurst joins us now from Toronto with more on this. Good morning, Scott. So this report card looked at the federal and provincial governments. First off, how did we do out here in BC?
Good morning, Carrie. It's always a terrifying time, at least from my experience, getting report cards and ultimately taking them home. But in this case, British Columbia got a letter grade of a B, along with a handful of other provinces. The report points to those provinces presenting their budgets and estimates simultaneously before the start of the fiscal year, with key numbers appearing early in the budgets, meaning easier to navigate and using consistent accounting. Now, here's a look at all the other provinces and the federal government. Here's the overall report card, with Alberta topping the class with an A+, but compare that to a more scathing review of the federal government. Ottawa earning a letter grade of D, and the report points out to the feds that they've been late in both its budget and fiscal statements, presenting estimates using different accounting, burying some key numbers deep in its budget, and also having a large gap between its projected and actual results. And to make matters worse, Ottawa is on track to be the only senior government to get a failing grade next year, Carrie.
So, Scott, what do these scores mean for taxpayers and governments across the country?
Well, of course, it should be important that governments are accountable to us. We are the tax-paying citizens. Their money is, of course, our money. And as the report states, Canadians shouldn't have to be experts in reading balance sheets and annual reports just to understand how their money is being spent and where it's going. So this provides a snapshot to us, the tax-paying citizens. Now, this rating on senior governments is not so much about overall results, rather accountability, meaning are they providing reliable and accessible financial reports, ensuring the public, as I mentioned, the taxpayers, you and me, making it easy enough for us to know where our money is going and how it's being spent, Carrie.
All right, a B, not too bad. Scott Hurst joining us this morning. Thanks for that, Scott.
Thanks, Carrie.
The respiratory virus season is officially underway, and BC is launching its fall immunization campaign. The province says it has secured nearly 2 million flu shots and 1.4 million COVID-19 doses. More than 300 vaccine doses have already been administered since the booking system launched last week. Health officials are urging people to get immunized and to be cautious of misinformation. Former Solicitor General and West Vancouver Police Chief Cash Heed has announced he is running to be Richmond's next mayor. Heed says he will be focusing his platform around issues like public safety, affordability, and housing. The longtime Richmond resident successfully ran for a seat on City Council back in 2022. Current Mayor Malcolm Brodie announced last month he will not be seeking re-election after 25 years in the role. The election will be held next October. Well, movie lovers have just a few days left to catch a flick at Vancouver's Park Theatre as the long-standing building will close its doors this weekend. Cineplex confirming the Cambie Street Cinema will close on Sunday, calling it a difficult decision. The Park Theatre first opened in 1941 and became part of Cineplex in 2013. Its 70mm projector will be moved to another location, but the future of the building remains unclear. Well, American brewer Samuel Adams is going against the grain of the light beer trend. It has released a brew so strong it's illegal to sell in 15 states. The barrel-aged beer is called Utopia and has a 30% alcohol content, making it one of the strongest beers ever brewed. Samuel Adams first debuted Utopia in 2001, and it took 14 editions to reach this boozy milestone. The beer is non-carbonated, ruby black in color, and meant to be sipped like a fine spirit. So with that kind of alcohol content, you're not getting a pint, right? Like you're just getting a little sipper.
What series of events led you to want to make this intensely illegal spirit? What happened?
I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to find something different for beer lovers to enjoy.
Get drunk really fast.
Oh, yeah.
I'll stick to my coffee. That's all. That's enough for me. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. CTV weather is brought to you by Chambers Plan, Canada's #1 plan for employee benefits. It's more than just health and dental. Learn more at chamberplan.ca. Well, you're going to need some spirits to get through this. We've got the purple is a wind warning in the Cariboo region, North Vancouver, East Vancouver Island. The green is rain. West Vancouver Island up to 80 millimeters is expected to fall through the day today. So if you live in any of these areas, do keep a lookout and stay safe out there. As for your forecast highs in the southern interior, 14 degrees. Masset, some rain. Prince Rupert, a rain and wind warning and a high of 10 degrees. As for your almanac for Vancouver, today we're going to hit a high of 13 degrees. Nowhere near the high set back in 1992, the first year the Jays won the World Series. Hooray. Hit 17 there. So today it's going to be a cloudy day. Some morning showers, but it's not going to be a wet day. That comes tomorrow. I'll have more about what to expect for the weekend and the system moving in coming up in the forecast in about 10 minutes. Carrie?
All right.
Spoiler alert, grab your umbrellas.
Yes, if you haven't already. Thank you. Well, taking a look at the roads this morning, a live shot of the Oak Street Bridge and a lot of volume on that span right now. Things are very slow. You can see the brake lights there. Lots going on. We'll keep an eye on that. On Highway 99, there is a stalled car northbound by Highway 17A, just south of the Massey Tunnel in the left lane. So watch for crews, and there will be delays. Well, every neighborhood has at least one person who goes all out for Halloween.
People, they watch the progress, and they're walking by every day and say, ooh, 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 ooh.
Oh, is right. Still to come, how one dad's mission to make Halloween special for his kids has become a lasting tradition. Uh-oh. We'll have more on this still to come. But first,
I also have a ton of home shows that I have to be at this year.
yeah, the Vancouver Fall Home Show is back with Brian and Sarah Baumler on the roster, and they're going to join us right here in studio after the break. Stay with us.
Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. A dream vacation, home renovations, paying off bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is spend. Head to the contest page on ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter spend with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Vancouver's $20,000 giveaway. Good luck.
I also have a ton of home shows that I have to be at this year.
Does he ever? The Vancouver Fall Home Show is back, and both Brian and Sarah Baumler are joining the exciting lineup of home improvement, design, and culinary experts. And here to tell us more about it are the stars of Home Network's new show, Building Baumler, Brian and Sarah Baumler. Good morning.
Good morning.
Here we are.
Yes. Here we are in the flesh.
Sarah spent that $20,000 just sitting here now as you were talking about it. We got new lights coming, a new carpet.
Yeah, I love that code word spend. I'm like, woo!
Yeah, you can do that.
$20,000.
It's terrifying.
It's great. Brian, you've been on the show quite a few times. Sarah, this is the first time for you, so welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you here. And you're both at the Fall Home Show this year.
We are.
That's exciting. What can people expect from the show? Who wants to take
a lot
that
of this.
one? Yeah.
A lot of banter.
Well, we're on Saturday at 2 o'clock and Sunday at 1, I believe.
Yeah.
I think a peek behind the curtain. This show, Building Baumler, I think is a little more Sarah, taking on Pines and Palm. You're going to see what she does more when, typically the shows, it's me pounding nails and a bit of design work, but this is a lot more. Sarah's taken on a project management role on one of our properties, and you'll see the divide and conquer and more, how do we get there versus how do we finish the job?
And how's that been for you, Sarah? Has that something that you've really embraced? Do you enjoy that part of it?
I have, and this past year has been really busy for Brian and I. When we originally were talking about how we're going to cope with this in the family, and obviously the hotel's still open and operational, we sort of said the only way to do it is if there's certain things that I'm sort of managing and certain things Brian's managing, and we're just keeping the wheel moving. So it's been a very busy year, but to Brian's point, we really did pull back the curtain. We allowed everyone to see the ups and downs of what it means, and we're going to talk a little bit about that on stage and what it means to renovate with your partner.
It's the beginning of my retirement plan.
Okay.
It's like, hey, Sarah, why don't you handle this?
But then she'll be doing the work.
Yeah.
But I think home renovations are one of those things that when a couple tries to tackle that, it can be extremely taxing on a relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, you are dealing with money, emotions, decisions, contractors. What would be the advice that you have? Because this seems to work for you guys, but maybe we're going to see a few of the ups and downs. We're going to see how it's been really going. But how do you? What would be the advice for people?
We have an incredible team of editors.
What would be the advice for
editors
people?
or therapists? I don't know what it is.
That is the key to a great relationship. It's an incredible team of editors. You have to self-edit. I mean, there's and we do see it a little bit in the show. It's a very fine line between, come to work with me and let's go deep sea fishing, and I end up as the bait. So.
And I think we found after 20 plus years of marriage as well and working together, you start to understand the give and takes, things that are really important to Brian when he shines, the parts of the project he's really invested in, and then likewise for myself. And we sort of know, okay, this is a Brian department. Let him run with it. His decision is final. And then likewise when I'm sort of digging my heels in, and you find that beautiful middle ground.
Let's explore this. So which departments are mine? Let's talk about this.
Next question.
Carrie, do you want to come and sit here?
Yeah, I'm like,
move over a little TV. Maybe not the best time to be tackling that particular one. Okay, so you're on stage this Saturday, was it? What time
yes,
do people catch
Saturday
you?
at 2 p.m. on Saturday.
And Sunday 1.
And what kind of questions do you guys get from people? Like, what do they want to know?
There's a wide range.
Everything.
People, I think, with us, I think a lot of our message is, if there's something that you want to do business-wise, jump. Because, ultimately the worst thing that could happen is you don't do it. And you look back and have regrets. We'll talk a little bit about, investing internationally. We'll talk about real estate, residential, commercial, where the best places to put your money are, how to build a business and scale it, things like that. And also how to navigate it, as in a partnership and not, not have to fire sale everything and split it all up with the lawyers. Right?
You're right. And even with the kids as well.
Okay, perfect.
I think it's really important for families to get out and see the show and understand what it's like to do this as a family.
And there's lots of great ideas at the Fall Home Show as well. Well, have fun. You guys are always fun to hang around, so it'll be a great show for people who come to check you out. Thanks for joining us. It was great to have you here, Sarah. Good to see you in person. And that's was from now through until Sunday at the Vancouver Convention Center. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Well, a massive scandal is currently unfolding just off the NBA court. A basketball player and a coach have been arrested after an FBI investigation into illegal sports betting. We'll have that still to come. And a huge auction filled with pop memorabilia is taking place. How much would you pay for that white fedora worn by Michael Jackson in the Smooth Criminal music video? Sarah, that's where you can put your money. There you go. That's coming up next. Stay with us.
CTV and your BC Ram truck dealers are giving you a chance to win $5,000 to outfit your tailgate in style. A fully loaded barbecue, a packed cooler, a massive TV, whatever you need to get primed for the game. CTV and your BC Ram truck dealers want to help make it happen with $5 grand for the ultimate tailgate party package. Enter online at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Good luck. Welcome back to CTV Your Morning Vancouver. It is 8:24. It is Thursday, and it's going to be a wet one ahead. All right. For the Lower Mainland, though, it's going to be a cloudy day. Some intermittent showers throughout the day, but mostly cloudy skies. And then tomorrow morning, this enters into the picture. A major system moving in, bringing in significant rainfall. In fact, parts of the province are under a rainfall warning as we speak. We'll get to that in just a moment. Like right now, Port Hardy, rainfall warning in effect. 15 degrees today. Campbell River Comox, also a rainy day. High of 13. Tofino, Port Alberni, rainfall warning there. Nanaimo, periods of rain in 13. Victoria, you may see some afternoon showers, but going to see mainly cloudy skies today and a high of 14. The rain will come tomorrow. Sechelt, Powell River, under a wind warning today. Squamish, rainfall warning 10 degrees. Whistler, periods of rain and a high of 10. Lower Mainland, 13 degrees. Again, some possible showers in Fraser Valley, but the real rain comes tomorrow. Major system moving in, bringing in rain and wind. And then when that clears, another one moves in just in time for Saturday. So grab your umbrellas, friends. It's fall and we live in Vancouver. Carrie?
Got it. Thanks, Caroline. Well, a treasure trove of pop memorabilia is set to go up for auction. But if you want to get in on the action, you're going to need to dig deep into your pockets. ABC's Maggie Ruley reports.
37 years after Michael Jackson checked on Annie, that white fedora the King of Pop wore in that video is now up for auction.
There were 3 commissioned. Kim Kardashian currently owns one. The Michael Jackson Foundation own one. And the third one we are offering in auction today. And that starts at £40,000.
Or more than $53,000. Prop Store's Mark Hockman says it's the first time MJ ever wore a white fedora. But that's not all. Today and tomorrow only, Prop Store in London is selling off some of the most significant pieces of music memorabilia.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right, it's all right.
Including those iconic glasses that John Lennon wore during his infamous Lost Weekend period, during which he cranked out 3 albums.
The glasses that we're offering were pretty much his everyday prescription glasses. They are very, very strong. There's lots of photos of him wearing them. We've matched the frames to photographs of him wearing them.
Also going under the hammer, a pivotal piece of history from Oasis.
Noel Gallagher's Gibson ES355 was the breakup guitar, as it was called originally, because Liam smashed it in 2009 in Paris.
That smash-up led to the final breakup of Oasis. But thankfully, Noel eventually had the guitar professionally restored. It's now expected to go for upwards of $700,000.
Do you think I'm pretty?
Looking ahead to another big auction next month, more than 400 pieces from the world of the late, great Jim Henson. Lisa Henson's the CEO of the Jim Henson Company and Henson's daughter.
We never get rid of anything. So this is an opportunity to share with the fans pieces that we feel that we can part with. And it's the first time we've ever done it.
The items include everything from articles of Jim Henson's clothing to a pair of Miss Piggy's shoes to some Muppets themselves.
One tablespoon.
Is this as boring to you as it is to me?
Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Oh, I love Miss Piggy.
Regis and Miss Piggy.
That's a duo
morning
right
maid. So much nostalgia, right? This is exactly what people use disposable income for, which I do not have.
Well, a lot of people don't have, but they'll find a way to spend the money if they really want. You know, those guitars and whatnot. I feel like it's musicians who are already, you know, self-made who have the money that might be interested in buying those things.
Or Kim Kardashian.
Or she has the hat, one of the hats, one of the fedoras.
And she's got the disposable income. She's doing okay.
The thing is, like, I just bring out that hat every time I can, and I just put it on everyone.
And be like,
fun.
I wear a hat right here at work or something, and then you tuck it away again.
Yeah, but the guitar, it's like, all right, here we go again. Dad's playing the old guitar. It's like,
trying to play Stairway to Heaven again. Okay. 8:29. Here's the view outside, and it's the Okanagan that we're taking a look at this morning. Beautiful view there on this Thursday morning. Here now is a look at your top stories. Well, we begin in Ottawa. Prime Minister Mark Carney has pledged to make generational investments in a campaign-style speech ahead of next month's fall budget. But his promise of bold action came with a warning, telling Canadians that transforming the economy will, quote, take some sacrifices.
Even with such efficiencies and with better management, we will have to do less of some of the things that we want to do so we can do more of what we must do.
Carney's goal for Canada is to double non-U.S. exports over the next decade, which he says would generate $300 billion in trade. Last night's address did not include any major new commitments, but it shed new light on key themes guiding the government's economic plan. That includes diversifying trading partners and plans for immigration. Former parliamentary budget officer Kevin Page says Carney's plans will face challenges.
2028-29 to effectively to eliminate an operating deficit in a weaker economy with the NATO commitments is probably going to mean he's going to have to do more cuts, more austerity type measures to offset some of those investments that he talked about. So it's going to be a challenge, and so yeah, that's something we're going to have to see the details of in the budget.
Meanwhile, Carney was joined by Ontario Premier Doug Ford this morning. The feds and Ontario say they'll be jointly funding $3 billion to help build 4 small modular nuclear reactors just east of Toronto. Once completed, the reactors will provide power to 300,000 homes. Canada's bail and sentencing laws are getting a major overhaul. The federal government says the new reforms will close long-standing gaps that have allowed repeat violent offenders back on the streets. Reagan is live in Vancouver with a preview of today's announcement. Good morning, Reagan. These changes are already getting a lot of attention here in BC.
Good morning, Carrie. They are, and there has been mounting pressure from both police and provincial leaders for stronger action from the federal government on bail reform. They say too many high-risk offenders are being released and are reoffending, and they're hoping today's announcement will bring changes to that. We'll be hearing from the federal Justice Minister Sean Fraser this morning in Ottawa. He's introducing the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act. The legislation is aimed at tightening bail conditions and increasing penalties for certain crimes. The federal government says the goal is to improve public public safety and restore confidence in the justice system. The federal government here in British Columbia, the issue has been front and center after a number of high-profile violent incidents involving repeat offenders. Police associations and the province's attorney general have long urged Ottawa to close what they call loopholes in the bail system. They'll be watching closely to see how these changes work in practice. And so this announcement is coming out of Ottawa at 9:30 this morning. That's when we'll learn all about these proposed changes. And we're also expecting to hear from the BC government later this morning in response to what is announced. Carrie?
Okay, Reagan Hasegawa joining us this morning. Thanks, Reagan. Well, another company has been hit by a cybersecurity breach. Toys R Us says a database containing customers' personal information was accessed. The toy store says it began an investigation in the summer, hiring a third-party investigator. It says some records had been copied, including customers' names, addresses, and contact information. However, the company says the breach did not contain passwords or credit card information. An advisory has been sent to all impacted customers. A major story is unfolding in the sports world. More than 30 people have been arrested in probes into illegal sports betting and rigged poker games backed by organized crime. Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier and Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups are among those arrested. The league had previously investigated Rozier in 2023. That investigation determined he did nothing wrong. You might remember that former Raptors player Jonte Porter pled guilty to charges that he withdrew early from games so that others could benefit by betting on him to underperform. Authorities allege the fraud involved in the case is in the tens of millions of dollars.
Between December 2022 and March 2024, these defendants perpetrated a scheme to defraud by betting on inside, non-public information about NBA athletes and teams. The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games or when they would pull themselves out early for purported injuries or illnesses.
The FBI says the defendants were allegedly involved in illegal betting on the performance of players on the Charlotte Hornets, Portland Trailblazers, LA Lakers, and the Toronto Raptors. Well, to new updates about the daring jewelry heist at the Louvre in Paris. The museum's director says her offer to resign was refused by France's culture minister, adding a weak and aging security system left them open to the brazen theft. The director was speaking publicly for the first time since the heist on Sunday. She told French senators that the only camera monitoring the exterior wall of the Louvre where thieves broke in was pointing away from the action that unfolded. Despite the museum's huge volume of visitors, investment in security has been slow, with the director highlighting budget challenges big institutions face. Thieves made off with millions of dollars of French crown jewels over the weekend. Well, some history was made at the Vatican today as King Charles III met with Pope Leo XIV. Following a private meeting at the Vatican, King Charles and the Pope prayed together in the Sistine Chapel. This was the first time an English monarch and a Catholic pontiff have prayed together since the Reformation. The visit is aimed at strengthening ties between the Church of England and the Catholic Church nearly 5 centuries after their separation. Well, as ticket prices for the World Series soar, so does frustration with ticket resellers and scalpers looking to cash in.
People shouldn't be making a business from reselling tickets.
How one province is considering reviving an old plan that may help keep ticket resellers in check. Will it be enough? That's still to come.
Bounce down, Mantha, back in front, Brazeau, scores!
The Canucks stumble in Pittsburgh, and with several players out with injuries, can they bounce back? The Rinkside reports next.
The Rinkside Report, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct.
Well, after a lopsided loss in Pittsburgh Tuesday, the reeling Vancouver Canucks are looking to bounce back tonight in Nashville. In this week's Rinkside Report, CTV's Yasmin Gandam reports one of the team's best players should be back in action, which may help give them a boost.
Tyler Myers and Kiefer Sherwood scoring 41 seconds apart in the first period in Washington Sunday. And the good vibes continued in Pittsburgh Tuesday with Connor Garland scoring just over a minute into the game.
Here's Connor Garland with a step on the right wing. He shoots, he scores.
But the team crashed in the second period.
We didn't do anything after that, really. So really bad effort tonight.
The Penguins scored 3 times in a little more than 3 minutes with the Canucks running on empty. The final score 5-1 for the Penguins.
Can't let games slip like this. Yes, we've been playing some good hockey lately, but it doesn't come easy. So we just got to bring it every night.
The Canucks have been dealing with 5 players injured or on leave, including top forward Brock Besser, who's missed the past 2 games for personal reasons, leaving them with no choice but to call up some replacements from the AHL.
It's too much to ask the Abbotsford call-up guys to step in and be difference makers. That's not who they are.
Despite the team desperately needing goals and missing some key players, the top lineup was barely on the ice in Pittsburgh.
Particularly Elias Pettersson and Jake DeBrusk, who led this team in goal scoring last year. They were among the lowest skaters in ice time in Pittsburgh.
Head coach Adam Foote says there is a good chance Besser will be back for Thursday's road trip finale in Nashville, and Teddy Bluger, a strong penalty killer, could also draw back into the lineup. Yasmin Gandam, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Ringside Report, brought to you by Capital Direct.
CapitalDirect.ca.
Oh, good morning. Don't mind me, I'm just getting ready for this very exciting segment where we're talking all about 2 rooms we often use in our homes, our kitchens and our bathrooms. And we're doing that this morning and drawing inspiration from Port Coquitlam's Bartle & Gibson showroom with Carmen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Carmen, such an exciting time right now because you guys are making your appearance at the Vancouver Fall Home Show starting today, actually, this morning. And it's a really exciting time because you are a Canadian company. A lot of folks are wanting to support local these days. Tell me a little bit about what sets you guys apart from other showrooms around Vancouver.
We want to inspire our clients to come in and really ask us a lot of questions concerning what their vision is and how we can guide them through that vision. Whether it's color or introducing artwork or moving through different sort of aspects of their actual home. So it's great to have that kind of conversation because that's what we want. People to feel comfortable coming in, ask those questions. We're going to guide them.
Absolutely. What kind of fixtures do you usually have on display? What are the services that you folks offer?
We do a lot in bathrooms and in kitchens, but we do have other aspects as well, where we go into electrical and other major plumbing compartments. So what we want to do is we want to inspire people. And we want to give them options so they can shop whatever they want, Canadian or other European or American sort of brands, but really expand their knowledge.
Absolutely. I mean, as we stand here and just take a look at your showroom, it's beautiful. We've got a whole array of bathtubs here, lots of different faucet options. So this is really a place where people can come and get an idea of their renovation and their wish list. How do you guys hold people's hands through that process? Because it can be quite overwhelming.
Yeah, you really have to sort of inform them and guide them through the whole process. And we're happy to have that kind of conversation with them. We want people to feel comfortable to coming in and talking with us, both through the whole gamut of what they're needing.
Well, speaking of art that really evokes that inspiration, we have a beautiful piece here of art that has been turned into a wall panel. This is by an artist we spoke to last week on our show, Stacey Bodrenek. Tell us a little bit about how this comes to life.
Well, it's a great company story. One of them is, the company is called Murlex. What Murlex does is actually do a wall paneling onto metal. And so this becomes waterproof, fireproof. It goes indoor, outdoor. So it's used in a shower application as well as maybe a kitchen backsplash or something like this.
Right.
So we decided to use this as a wall feature. So it shows some kind of a rustic, kind of natural art from BC by Stacey, and she's done a beautiful job in her work with multi-layer. This one in particular is called Botanical Beach. Beautiful. And I love it because I ended up pairing it with a lovely walnut finish cabinetry. Again, another Canadian company called Classic Brand, and they've done a great job kind of creating kind of like a brushed gold look, fluted doors, which is actually very popular. We're moving that into our tub scenario. That's why you see this particular tub as well. So it's just great to actually give some people some inspiration.
Absolutely.
And expand their thoughts. and what they can do.
Consider me inspired, Carmen, because it's been a great time getting to see the Bartle & Gibson showroom in person right here in Port Coquitlam. It's one of several showrooms that you have in the Lower Mainland, and you'll be at the Vancouver Fall Home Show. So that's super exciting. Make sure to catch them at booth 1312 all through this weekend and get your own inspiration.
Thanks, Mona. I, too, am inspired. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. CTV weather brought to you by Chambers Plan, Canada's #1 plan for employee benefits. It's more than just health and dental. Learn more at chamberplan.ca. Of course, the weather warning still very much in effect. The purple is a wind warning. The green is rain. West Vancouver Island can see up to 80 millimeters of rain. Inland Vancouver Island, 80 millimeters, up to 148 millimeters are possible near Gold River. And these warnings are expected to remain in effect through the day today. As for the Lower Mainland, mainly cloudy skies today, some intermittent showers a little bit later on, but the real rain comes tomorrow. Yes, overnight and tomorrow. Look at this, a major system moving in, bringing significant rainfall, and just as that clears, another one enters into the picture just in time for Saturday. Hooray, it's fall and it's Vancouver. Southern interior, 14 degrees, some showers along the coast. Your almanac for Vancouver today is a high of 13 degrees, which is right around average for this time of year. As for the 5-day, again, the rain falls tomorrow, rain and wind, and another wet weekend ahead. Grab your umbrellas, friends. You're gonna need them.
Well, the spookiest thing this time of year can often be cold and flu season. Joining us this morning to share tips on boosting your immunity to keep those bad bugs away is wellness expert Christina Barrett. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, love. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for being here. So, Christina, obviously no one wants to be down with a cold and flu when they should be out trick-or-treating. So what lifestyle habits can help keep both stress and immunity in check?
Well, there's a number of things that we can be doing, and honestly, it's always the boring stuff that we've heard before, but I don't know that we always associate stress as having a direct impact on immune. So when stress levels are high, and that can be change of routine, change in weather, the body can produce more cortisol, which can weaken the immune defenses over time. So finding daily ways to manage stress is very important. Eating well, getting enough sleep, all the boring things we already know. It comes to staying healthy in the colder months. These are really important, though. Consistency really matters. Getting enough quality sleep, staying active, participating in mindfulness things to keep you focused, and taking the time to rest are simple ways to build resistance.
Absolutely.
Should you have times where that... Oh, sorry, honey.
I was just going to ask, when maybe those things aren't working for you, what vitamins would you recommend to help with stress and immunity support?
Well, again, a mineral like magnesium is important because it supports relaxation and helps to calm the nervous system. Pairing it, if you're having sleep disruptions, with a low-dose melatonin, that can help you regulate your sleep cycles so your body can rest and repair, which is key to a strong immune function. And stress can actually deplete B vitamins, which is even more important to keep your levels steady during busy or demanding times. If you're really finding it's hard to focus, an amino acid in green tea like L-theanine promotes calm focus and better sleep, helping to reduce stress and support immune defense.
Absolutely. And how do you personally fit these into your daily rhythm?
So it's all about making little habits that really help to line things up, setting an alarm on your clock, making sure you're limiting your blue light before you go to sleep, and even having supportive products around you. So when you do find your stress levels get higher, so being able to take something like an L-theanine with a little magnesium to help you relax can do a lot to helping reduce stress and support that immune defense.
All right, and where can folks find, we're watching right now some videos of some of the Orange Natural products. Where can folks find those?
Thrifties is a wonderful place. They've got wonderful nutritionists or health professionals on staff who will be so excited to help you. And if you want to know more about the products, go to orangenaturals.com. They have wonderful resources there for you to learn more and more about natural health.
Wonderful. And of course, as a reminder, folks should talk to their healthcare providers before making any healthcare decisions or for guidance about specific medical conditions. But in the meantime, all those tips were excellent. So thank you so much for your time with us this morning, Christina.
Thank you.
Well, every neighborhood has at least one person who goes all out for Halloween.
People, they watch the progress, and they're walking by every day and say, ooh, 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 ooh.
How one dad's mission to make Halloween special for his kids has become a lasting tradition. Look at the size of those bones. Stay with us. We're back in a moment.
Mickey and pals are rocking the DJ table at Disney on Ice, and you're on the guest list. Feel the electric atmosphere as they remix favorite Disney tunes into colorful worlds. Disney on Ice presents Let's Dance at the Pacific Coliseum. Enter online at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen for a chance to win an 8-pack of tickets. Good luck.
Well, Taylor Swift fans will remember the frustration trying to get tickets to her Eras tour in Vancouver. Now one Canadian province is looking to crack down on ticket resellers. It comes ahead of the World Series that starts in Toronto this Friday. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
Outside the Rogers Centre, the headquarters for so much joy the last few days, everyone has a story of woe of being denied a coveted World Series ticket.
I was, I think, 138,000 in the queue for Game 6.
I wasn't able to get any. It's been crazy.
The tickets vanished in a flash. The resale market that took over.
Too expensive.
Fans have reported tickets listed for north of $25,000. That's what some Torontonians pay for rent in a whole year.
They need to do something about it. People shouldn't be making a business from reselling tickets. It just doesn't make sense.
The Premier has heard those frustrations and is considering changes.
My personal opinion, I got to talk to the whole team, but they're gouging the people. When you have one player in the market that controls the tickets, that's not right for the people. So we're actually reviewing that right now.
Doug Ford says he'll look at reviving a legislative move his government killed in its early days. It would cap the price for a resale ticket at 50% markup. In 2018, Ford's office said the measure introduced by the Liberals couldn't actually be enforced. But Blue Jays fans are giving this a standing ovation.
That's a really reasonable thing to do. It allows people to actually afford to come into games and shows that you want to be able to see.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Like, price gouging is out of control.
I think that's something good. I think the amount people are trying to make off other people, I think is unfair.
Opposition parties don't think the government should have shut down the anti-scalping measure in the first place.
The Ford government once again failed everyday people in order to align themselves with corporate interests.
We need the government to take action.
People expect their government to make sure there's fairness.
Fans are still willing to stretch their budgets to witness history.
800 max. Yeah, for like the 500 seats.
But for now, they'll have to hope this is more than a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Ontario Liberals introduced a motion late this afternoon to bring back that cap on resale ticket prices. It was shot down. The NDP will try again tomorrow, but don't expect it to go anywhere. Siobhan Morris, CTV News, Toronto.
Well, Halloween may be just one night, but one Vancouver man prepares for weeks to make it special. What started as a family tradition has turned into a neighborhood spectacle. In this morning's Sawatsky sign-off, Adam explains how one dad's spooky setup is sparking more smiles than scares.
On this deceased duo, the first living person to walk past is Wee Wong.
It's just random guys.
Wee says skeletons start congregating round his house the day after Labor Day.
This is nothing compared to what's coming.
At least two will take over the truck.
It's storage.
Before another gets behind the wheel of the boat.
Every day some stuff trickles out of my garage and my basement.
And every day, after working as a mechanic,
I got boxes and boxes.
Wee will spend a couple hours with this spooky stuff.
People, they watch the progress, and they were walking by every day and say, ooh, 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 ooh.
Preparing for the big night.
You want a happy story?
Wee's Halloween story began when his family moved to Canada when he was 6.
When I was a kid, I used the same costume for years and years and years, right?
When he had kids of his own, Wee ensured that every year they could get new costumes and experience new thrills.
You know, basically, I had kids that are now grown up, and I'm stuck with the Halloween stuff, and they're gone.
But because Wee made so many happy memories with them, his now grown kids will come back to help their dad on Halloween night.
Need a hand?
To make memorable moments for the thousands of kids in the neighborhood expected to tour his display.
Some of the smiles are bigger than what Santa gives you.
Well, the skeletons are showing their age.
I'm 63 now, just an old kid.
Wee has found that giving back to the community like this keeps him young at heart.
Everybody's good at something, and I guess this is what I do.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Sawatsky sign-off, brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Amazing. I'm told he lives near Trout Lake, so that would be a great place to go to check out a really good Halloween house.
Yeah. Such a joyful laugh for, you know, all the scary decorations.
Right? He really enjoys it.
He's just joyful behind all that spookiness.
It's got a huge skeleton. Oh my gosh, where did he put that?
Skelly.
It is skelly. Very, very skelly. Thanks for joining us, everyone. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah.
Bye.